250 years of America. Imagine a country that didn't exist 250 years ago. No flag, no president, no constitution, not even a name. Just 13 squabbling colonies clinging to the edge of a continent, surrounded by ocean, wilderness, and the greatest military empire on Earth. And yet, within 2.5 centuries, that scrappy collection of farms and fishing towns would become the most powerful nation in human history. How? That's the question this video answers. Buckle up, because 250 years of blood, genius, disaster, and triumph is about to unfold in the next 10 minutes.
Birth of a nation, 1776 to 1800. It begins in the summer of 1776. 13 British colonies, from Massachusetts to Georgia, have had enough. Taxation without representation, soldiers sleeping in your home, courts that answer to a king 3,000 miles away. On July 4th, 1776, they do the unthinkable. They sign their own death warrant, or so the British think. A Declaration of Independence, written by a 33-year-old Virginian named Thomas Jefferson, tells the world, we are done. But declaring freedom and winning freedom are two very different things. George Washington's army is outnumbered, outgunned, and perpetually underfed. They fight barefoot through winter. They lose battle after battle. In December 1776, Washington is so desperate, he crosses the icy Delaware River on Christmas night in a snowstorm to launch a surprise attack. It works. Barely. 6 brutal years of war follow. France, desperate to weaken Britain, secretly and then openly backs the Americans. In 1781, with French naval support cutting off British supply lines, General Cornwallis surrenders at Yorktown, Virginia. The impossible has happened. America is free. But now what? The new nation's
expansion and contradiction, 1800 to 1860. The new century begins with an empire in miniature, and ambitions far larger. In 1803, President Jefferson makes the deal of the millennium. France, under Napoleon, sells the Louisiana Territory, an area larger than all of Western Europe, for about 3 cents an acre. America doubles in size overnight. Jefferson sends Meriwether Lewis and William Clark west to explore it. They travel 8,000 miles round trip. They return with maps, journals, and proof that the Pacific coast is reachable. The floodgates open. Americans.
Civil War and Reconstruction, 1861-1877. April 12, 1861. Confederate forces open fire on Fort Sumter, South Carolina. The Civil War has begun. It lasts 4 years. It kills 620,000 Americans, more than every other American war combined. Entire towns vanish. Families split apart. Brothers fight brothers on the same fields. Lincoln initially frames the war as a fight to preserve the Union. But in 1863, he issues the Emancipation Proclamation, declaring enslaved people in rebel states free. The war becomes something more, something moral. Black soldiers join the Union Army. Nearly 180,000 of them fight with extraordinary courage.
The Gilded Age and Rising Power, 1877 to 1917. America turns outward and inward with explosive energy. Steel, oil, railroads, electricity. In the decades after the Civil War, America industrializes at a pace that stuns the world. Andrew Carnegie builds a steel empire. John D. Rockefeller controls the oil supply. J.P. Morgan controls the banks. These men accumulate wealth that would make Roman emperors blush. Millions of immigrants flood the country. Irish, Italian, Polish, Chinese, Jewish, all chasing the promise of a better life. They build the railroads, work the mines, sew the garments. They are both essential and exploited. The cities explode in size. New York, Chicago, Pittsburgh. Slums grow alongside skyscrapers. But the American story rarely stays comfortable for long. Reformers push back. Journalists called muckrakers expose corruption and unsafe conditions. Theodore Roosevelt, a force of nature in the White House, busts monopolies, protects natural lands, and redefines what government can do. The Progressive Era rewires America's relationship with power. America also begins
World Wars and the American Century, 1917, 1945. Europe has been tearing itself apart since 1914. America stays out until it can't. German submarines sink American ships. A secret German telegram tries to recruit Mexico to attack the United States. In April 1917, Congress declares war. American troops pour into France, fresh, fed, and furious. They tip the balance. By November 1918, the Great War is over. America returns home a changed nation. The Roaring '20s thunder in. Jazz, flappers, prohibition, and a stock market that seems to only go up until it doesn't. October 1929, the Wall Street crash. The Great Depression swallows the economy. Cold War and Civil Rights, 1945 to 1975. America emerges from World War II as the most powerful nation on Earth. But a new rival looms: the Soviet Union. The Cold War is not fought on open battlefields. It's fought in proxy wars, propaganda, nuclear standoffs, and the race for space. In 1950, American troops fight in Korea. In 1962, the Cuban Missile Crisis brings the world within hours of nuclear annihilation. In 1969, Neil Armstrong walks on the moon, and America wins the greatest propaganda victory of the century. But inside the country, the reckoning long deferred finally arrives. The Civil Rights Movement. Rosa Parks refuses to give up her seat. Martin Luther King Jr. leads marches and delivers words that shake history. John Lewis and hundreds of others are beaten on the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama, on live television. The country watches, and for once, the country acts. Reinvention and globalization, 1975 to 2001. But America has always had a gift for reinvention. Ronald Reagan arrives in 1981 with a simple message: morning in America. Optimism, deregulation, tax cuts. The economy roars back to life, though inequality grows alongside it. The Soviet Union collapses in 1991. The Cold War ends without a single nuclear bomb. America stands alone as the world's only superpower. The 1990s are a remarkable decade. The internet is born. The economy booms. Bill Clinton presides over the longest peacetime expansion in American history. The budget is balanced for the first time in decades. America at the millennium feels, briefly, invincible. Then comes September 11, 2001. Two planes hit the world. The modern era, 2001 to 2026. America goes to war in Afghanistan, then Iraq. The wars drag on for years, for decades. Trillions spent, thousands dead. The outcomes are bitterly contested. At home, change continues at a speed that would have been unimaginable to the founders. In 2008, Barack Obama becomes the first black president of the United States. For millions, it is a moment of historic weight. A nation that once enslaved black Americans now elects one as its leader. 1 year later, the Great Recession. The worst financial crisis since the Depression shakes the global economy. Banks collapse. Millions lose their homes. Recovery is slow and uneven. The 2010s bring social upheaval. Black Lives Matter, Me Too, political polarization that fractures families and communities. Social media changes everything. How people communicate, how they get news, how they argue. how they vote. In 2020, a global pandemic, COVID-19, kills over 1 million Americans and locks down the country. It is the most disruptive peacetime event since the Depression. America argues fiercely.
From 13 colonies to global superpower, from slavery to a black presidency, from muskets to moon landings, from a farmer's republic to the world's largest economy. America is not a destination. It is an argument, a perpetual, often painful, sometimes glorious